to the Owl Circle podcast. For today's episode, we're inviting someone who is truly special. I wanted to invite someone that truly embodies the spirit of the circle. Someone who is constantly evolving, inspiring, and creating. Let's welcome Grace. Grace Chan!
Yay! Hi!
Thank you so much for coming.
No, thanks for having me.
I know you are super busy. You just came back from Germany and you're flying again tomorrow. And I really, really appreciate you giving me this time slot.
Not at all.
Yeah. When I asked her whether she could come on to this podcast, without I didn't even start saying I would like to invite you, and then she basically said yes and yes and yes. So thank you so much. So let's do a quick introduction.
Okay.
Grace was Miss Hong Kong 2013.
Yes.
She is also a mom of 3 boys.
Yeah.
And she also has business herself, and you are a super good storyteller.
Aww.
You're probably the best content creator in Hong Kong. She's a lot of things. She is truly a super mom. No, a super mom. Okay, so let's start. Grace.
Yes.
Let's start with motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle 3 boys plus everything that's going on?
How do I handle it? You know how people always say, oh, how do you balance, say, having both things, having work and having family as well? But I often say that it's not about giving half of the pie to one side and then half of the pie to the other side. I think it's more about when you're in the moment of, say, work, or if you're in the moment of family, it's how you prioritize that first. Because I would hate to be at home but be on my phone the whole time, or hate to be at work and worry oh, I feel guilty because I'm not supposed to be here. I should be doing mom things. So I think it's really about focusing on whatever environment that is at that point and then doing it well. Because I feel like if you were trying to balance it, you're ultimately going to fail, because at the end of the day, there's only one of you. So I hope that by understanding this for myself, I also help my kids to understand that this is for me as well.
But as a working mom as well, I actually find it really difficult, if I don't touch my phone at home.
I know.
I can't, because I feel like there's always people asking me questions that I need to resolve right away, right?
Exactly.
How do you do that?
So I also think that it's really hard to not use your phone at home, especially because you want to be present, right? You want people at work to feel okay, I know that there's a situation, you want me to resolve it, so let me be there. But I also think that when you explain beforehand to both parties, sometimes I'll tell my kids, hey, mommy's really working on something right now. There's going to be an important message. I might need to kind of run out of the room to quickly finish this message, and then I'll be right back. Or you kind of tell work hey, I know this is important, but for the next 2 hours, I need to be with my kids. We're going to have dinner at 7. They're going to be in bed by 9. Is it okay if you just give me 2 hours where I can be off my phone? And I feel when you communicate to these parties, then they understand, and then it doesn't come off as kind of why are you not giving me the attention that I need? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I guess for me, sometimes it's not really about whether the other party understands or not. It's me. I just feel I need to do it right away. Do you ever get that feeling if I don't answer now, then it's gonna be too late? And
so I used to have this nickname called Miu Wui. So in a second I'll respond. Everything it comes up onto my phone. I'm okay, I'm gonna quickly and go. But then I realize sometimes even if I do that, it's not the other person right away is gonna respond either.
Yeah.
And it's just about try making a habit of I can look at this message, see its priority, and go, it's okay to not reply right away. And I do think we always have to think about how we want to be treated, because I feel if I were a kid and I was playing and then suddenly something came up and then my parents walked away and just kind of didn't explain to me what was happening, I would feel quite bad. But I feel if it's explained, they could understand. Or if the choice was made to not answer that call and just pay attention to me, I would be much happier. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but I do feel guilty, because sometimes even I tell myself I'm not gonna respond to any message, but I know my eyes looking at my phone. You
just gotta put it away.
So you actually put your phone away.
I would make an excuse to charge it upstairs somewhere where I can't see it right away. But I think at the same time, like, it's okay to have it nearby and kind of take a glance. But then kids are so smart these days, right? They'll be like, oh, I saw you looking at your phone. You said no phones. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, okay. And I've had situations where, like, especially my second, he really doesn't like it when I'm on my phone when I'm with him, or when we're out and someone asks for a photo. He'll literally go up to someone and go, can you stop taking photos with my mom? Like, she's spending time with me right now.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And like at first I used to be like, oh, you know, maybe they're just happy to see me. I mean, maybe it's this one chance and then there won't be a chance anymore. So I also want to be like the nicer person to do this, but then I do understand his perspective. Like, you don't have to say yes to everything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I guess that's part of being like having to handle so many things. It's to learn how to say no.
I know I'm so bad at it though.
Yeah, which is good for me because you actually said yes to my podcast, even without like me actually asking the question. So I'm truly grateful for that. Okay, so let's move on to the transitions. You know, you were Miss Hong Kong, then you were acting for a little bit, and then content creator. Can you talk a little bit about this journey? How you decide to change and yes.
I think something that I've learned in the last, say, 12, 13 years is that there's never a wrong time to start something new. Because I think when we're younger, we're almost fed with this idea like, okay, we need to know what position we're in. We need to go and study the exact, you know, subject that's going to get us our career that we want. But then I realized over time, especially since the world is always evolving, we had COVID 6 years back, like you kind of have to adapt. And I think with Miss Hong Kong, I was really grateful for that opportunity and I worked hard. And then another chance came and it was to act. And I was terrible at acting, had nothing prior. And I was like, why are you guys just throwing me out into the wolves? And everyone was like, Grace can't act. She shouldn't be getting these roles. But I was like, okay, I'm going to live and learn. I'm going to learn while I'm in the process and hopefully convince people that like she's worth being here. And then over time, I had kids and I thought, okay, if I keep acting, I'm going to have no time to spend at home. So then that shifted and I started doing content because then I could make my own time. I could schedule my own things. But then that became a full-time job. And then sometimes I just think, what can I do that will make me feel satisfied, but also be able to spend more time with the kids? And that's why I started my business. Thinking that like, okay, if their business starts running itself, I know, right? How dare I be so naive? But like, okay, if that ran itself, then I can like make money while I sleep and I don't always have to be active. Because if you're not doing, like, I mean, with content, if you're not actively doing it, then nothing's going to be able to be made, right? But with businesses, you think I can allocate and people can do my work for me and I can just lead, you know? But then obviously that was just another project. But okay. Conclusion is you can start anything at any time. You know, I've seen people who have started businesses at 50 or 60 and they're so happy because they realize this is what I want to do in this moment and you're not too late for it. And if by chance you're lucky enough to find out what you want to do at 16, that's great too, you know? Yeah.
But how do you split your time handling, you know, all these different things?
I sleep very little.
Yeah, I know. I remember receiving messages from you at like 2 in the morning and I'll be texting you at like 6 and then I get a message back.
Maybe it's like it's a auto reply.
But how do you like always look so good and, you know, so bubbly and full of energy all the time with like so little sleep?
I would say I'm the exact definition of what an extrovert is. I really receive a lot of energy when I meet people. So actually, if I go home after a long day and I don't talk to anyone, like I completely wind down and shut down because like all the energy has just kind of like left my body. But when I see people, I get recharged again. Like I was really tired this morning. I was doing my makeup. I was like, I just need like one more hour. Like why did I could have just shifted everything. But now that I'm here, like I feel energized again. And I feel like when you're doing things that you really like and you're seeing people that you love, then that energy comes back again.
Okay. So I think it was like during COVID, you started your own business, the Snow.
Oh, Snowy. That was my first business.
That was your first business.
That's done.
Right.
Yep.
So that lasted for how long? 1 year?
4 years.
4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to call it, you know, that's it, I'm done with that?
Oh, okay. I think during COVID, we were still in stores and people were still buying it, but then I think the market itself is quite competitive. And the exact store that we put it in started making their own cotton pads, but selling it at a cheaper price. And I was like, because that's kind of how people do their businesses as well. So eventually I just thought like, okay, now that there's more in the market, I feel like our product is just going to kind of sit on stands, but it's not going to really effectively sell anymore. And it was really hard to kind of revamp it because cotton pads are cotton pads. We were already using the best materials that we could do. We're sourcing from places that could give us like the lowest amount, but then also produce quality. But at that point, I think you just have to tell yourself, it's okay. Like, it had a good run, people had good product reviews on it, and now it's okay to kind of just move on.
But did you struggle for a long time, like, and be like, oh, it's my first business and it's gonna be 好樣衰我咁快唔做啦咁樣?
I think it was okay for me because I don't think I'm a very business savvy person. Like, even when I do businesses, usually I'm the person who's like, okay, let me make some content and I know how to market to some people who are like in the industry. But I think the backbone of it is really my partner, because she's the one who does the numbers and she files everything and she gives me a stack of papers. She's like, this is not gonna like sell your life, just sign it and I'll just manage everything else. So I really put all my trust in her. So when it didn't work out, it wasn't like it was a failure. It was just kind of like I said, we have to adapt to the surroundings. And if we try to push forth something that's eventually going to fade out, why not do it when you're still in a good run, and you're not in the red or something like that?
So over the years, what would you say is your biggest failure?
Ooh, that's a good question. My biggest failure, what's funny? It's not really a tangent, but my husband and I have quite a different mentality when we approach life, because he's very realistic. I don't know if it's something about men. They're very like, okay, we gotta see things from a very critical standpoint. And he always tells me, the moment you were born, that's when you start having to make decisions every day that's going to reduce the amount of regrets that you're going to have later on in life. So in 中文呢, it's 你要喺每一日去減少你死嗰一日之前嘅遺憾. So it's kind of deep. It's deep, but it's also like, when I first heard it, I was like, that seems so negative. Like, why would we live life to just reduce regrets? Like, because we don't know they're going to happen until it does happen, right? Whereas my mentality is like, I'm going to live my life creating moments and memories that I'm going to remember and cherish, right? And yes, regrets will come along the way, but they're not at the foremost of what I care about. So I think with what you said, you're going to have failures. But in my perspective, I always see failures as a way to learn and grow and evolve. So ultimately, they're not failures at all. Because if that weren't to happen, I wouldn't be here today being me.
That's a really, I think, good way of seeing failure. Because last year, I closed 2 shops, right? And I was struggling for the longest time whether I should close them or not, because they're fairly new. And closing it was actually the best decision I actually made. So I guess throughout that process, it also made me learn a lot, like what I thought is a failure actually made me learn a lot. And, without letting go sometimes, you really can't, give space for something new, something better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for sharing, and your husband for sharing that philosophy. I've actually never heard of that before. But so Sid, would you say you're a really positive person?
I think I would say that I'm quite optimistic, but I think at the end of the day, since we are older now, I also have the side of me that's like, we can't be naively optimistic, but I think it's always good to kind of see a good side in everything as well. And back to the failure point, like, I think it's also a good way to allow our kids to learn failure, because when we are at home and we play games and we always let our kids win, like, okay, put paper, so then, but then it's like, it's good to let them know that you don't always have to win, and it's okay, because or else you're not really setting themselves up for outside world and being able to kind of withstand the pressure of failure. And like I said, there's always a beauty in failing as well.
That's true. So let's talk about your current business. It's a healthy chocolate.
I would say, well, healthier because we're using reduced sugar, it's dark chocolate, but in essence, it is still a dessert. I'm not gonna try to like cover it up and be like, yeah. So it is it's a really fun project because remember how Dubai chocolate suddenly became a huge explosion, and I myself, I don't really eat chocolate on its own, but I like chocolate in desserts. But then when I heard about this, I was like, wow, it's interesting. Like, oh, it's filled, it's stuffed. Like, what does it taste like? So then I got friends to actually vacuum seal it back from Dubai for me.
Oh.
Yeah. So when it came, I was like, okay, it looks kind of normal. But then when I had it, I was like, whoa, I was not expecting the crunchiness, the saltiness. And then I also thought, I could do better. Because I think we're always thinking of how like chocolate is quite sweet, and I really wanted to make a version that would be a little less sweet and also just a bit more enhanced, and then that's what we did.
So how involved are you in this business?
I would say like 50-50. Yeah,
50-50
with my partner.
Okay.
Once again, I need a partner because of all the things that I'm managing, and she already has a cake business, so it was really easy for her to pick up and kind of just start a project about desserts. But I really like to do the creative side, and I like to think of what new flavors we're going to do, how we're going to kind of promote it in the market. And for me, QC is so important. So I'm like constantly trying chocolate all the time. And I don't know if it's like, because you have your own food business as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you get a point where you're kind of like, okay, I can't have this anymore? Because I don't. Because I'm like, keep it coming.
Sometimes I would be like, I'll taste it and then I'll spit it out. I just can't
Oh, really?
anymore. Because I mean, I need to also take care of my own body,
Yes,
right?
and no, and you have a way larger range of products.
Yes,
so
yes.
it's
So we
different.
have like cakes and cookies and everything.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of like new launches, so we have to try a lot of things. Yeah. So, but why initially you did the cotton pads and then now it's F&B? It's like a completely different industry.
Right.
Like, how did you even get into it, or what's next? Are you
Right.
gonna do something in, I don't know, fashion?
Cotton pads came at a time where I needed to create a product that I felt like wouldn't clash with too much of my work that I have now. Because if I were to do a makeup brand, then I guess a lot of work that would involve makeup would have a conflict.
Right.
And then cotton pads, like it was something that was essential. Everyone was going to buy it. People were buying it a lot during COVID, like unexpectedly. So that kind of had its own market. But then after that finished, I was like, okay, I'm off business for a while. But then this opportunity just came. And to me, I was like, okay, I don't want to do F&B because everyone's taste buds are so different and it's just so risky. Like, do I really need to put myself out there for criticism? But then at the same time, like, you sometimes just got to take the risk, and you sometimes just got to do things that you love. Like, I would rather start a business knowing that I fully love and am confident about the product rather than because I just know it makes money, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, so previously there was some like negative feedback about like the mochi and
Oh no, it was one flavor.
One flavor.
That was with Mami Mean. It was like
Yeah.
a instant noodle pack.
Right.
So we tried to do something that was kind of a different kind of combination.
Yeah.
And honestly, everyone loved it. But there was obviously one person who was trying to make some noise.
Yeah.
And so he wrote a review and said it doesn't taste good, and he threw it in the trash, and he made a video about it. And because of the fact that I'm a public figure, people were like, great, now we have news to write about. Like, let's talk about this one guy versus those thousands of comments who loved it. But I think that's just, it kind of goes with the game, you know? Yeah.
So being so public, right? How do you, there's always going to be people talking, and how do you, like, how does it affect you, like, mentally? You know, there's always going to be people talking, I don't know, negative stuff, or of course there's going to be people saying like, oh, we'll hang out, whatever.
Yeah.
Then when there's like negative feedback, what do you do?
I usually first judge what that comment is about. Like when it was about the business, it was a little bit difficult because I obviously didn't want to affect the brand in itself. But I feel like I can get over it, because then I'll just look back and go, okay, well, I'm sorry that you didn't like the taste of it. I'm glad that someone else does. Or maybe, there's another product later on that you can try and hopefully you like it. And I think that's fine. But I feel like when it's the personal attacks, like random comments about my family or how I look or what I'm doing, you see those and you go, wow, like where do these things come from? Or like, why do people have to talk so negatively about others without even understanding them or knowing them, or just to be spiteful or be mean-spirited? And it really goes back to like when we were kids and you think about people being bullies, and you go, are people like this truly because they have past trauma that they can't get over, or are they like this because it makes them feel better about themselves? Or is it because they truly have something that, you should note and take note of and think like, okay, maybe I can reflect on myself and things that I could be doing better. So it's really like a very critical analysis on everything. It will harm you, it will hurt you, but I always say at the end of the day, if you've been in this for 13 years, you can get past another 13 years or more. And it's just about knowing really who you are and whether those comments should or should not bother you. Yeah.
So being like creating content is such a big part of your life, right? So what about your kids? Are they allowed to create their own content, or are they too young now?
So my husband is very adamant about them being in the business, and I understand, because being that both of us are in it, we always think like, okay, we see the really, really dark side of it, and if kids are approaching it at a point where they are now, it's way too fast. You honestly, there's a lot of wu yim in it as well, and we really don't want them to get to that stage when they're in this very innocent and just happy, carefree part of their lives. Like I feel like we had it good because our generation growing up, we didn't have so much cell phones, social media was not a thing. And I always go like, I'm so happy that we were able to have that part of our lives and to grow up that way, so that we are more grounded now. Whereas kids now, it's like there's way too much that they can learn from, and there's way too much negative things that they can kind of absorb. So I do agree on, as long as we can, just letting them stay off, but eventually they have to make their own decisions as well.
So I've seen like in your past interviews, you mentioned that creating content is very lonely. Why is that?
I think because when I used to act, it was like a big team of people. And I loved going to work and kind of like, say I'm really tired this morning, and someone kind of like hands you a coffee and goes, hey, let's go and get this done, right? Versus now I'm like making coffee by myself. Like, I'm so tired. I'm not complaining. I love my work. I think I just pack it a lot because of this fear of, I don't want to seem too idle. Do you ever have that feeling like people in Hong Kong are always like, it's so good, you're so busy, and then you kind of start feeding into it and you're like, I've got to be busy, because if I'm not busy, people think I'm not worth what I'm worth. And it's almost like creating this busyness for yourself so that you can gain more, I don't know, people having your attention, or having people think like, oh, she must be doing great these days because she has a lot of work going on, and so on and so forth.
So does your husband ever think that you're spending too much time working? Because in my mind, you're everywhere, and you basically like work throughout the entire day, right?
Do you have that?
Sometimes I feel like my husband, he doesn't say it out, but I do feel that.
I feel like this question is coming from like a very personal
Yes, I just want to feel that I'm not alone.
You're not alone, you're not alone. He tells me all the time. And at first I was thinking like, oh, maybe he's just saying this because he's like, okay, like you gotta be home too, right? Like the kids are your kids too. But then eventually I really do see that he was doing it for my own health. Because I mean, as much as we abuse our health nowadays, I'm sure it will kind of come back at us later on, and he just doesn't want me to get to a point where I realize I'm already at that deterioration and I should have done something earlier. I mean, last night he was just telling me like, what time is work tomorrow? And I was like very guiltily at 3 a.m. a couple of hours, and he was like, why are you not sleeping? And I was like, I just got to get this done. And he was like, Grace, honestly, you're an adult now. If you want to be a role model to your kids, you got to show them that there is time management. I understand that there are things you want to get done, but sleep is sleep. That's your whole body recovering and helping you be able to finish those tasks tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And then I just went. And then sometimes he'll be like, it's like taking care of 4 kids now. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, I'm taking care of you. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you try to pick up your kids from school
Every day.
Every day. But how do you? Because you just told me that you have 3 shootings today. How do you find time to do all that?
Okay, I think I did it a lot better last year because they were all going to the same school.
Yeah.
So I was driving them every morning, and then I was always managing work where I would tell work, like, I have to be off at a certain time because I have to go pick up my kids or else they're going to be at school. But there were so many times I had to call the school and be like, I'm going to be 30 minutes late. I'm going to be 45 minutes late. I've even been an hour late to school, and I'm so thankful that the school is so great. And they're like, it's okay, they're just going to be here. The teachers might be doing their thing, but they'll be safe in the classroom. But you can't abuse that, you know? You can't just, it's not a daycare babysitting where you can just leave them there for another extra hour. So I think given that now, I just realize if I really can't make it, I just need to tell someone else to do that for me. Like I always tell my kids, it's okay to ask for help. I know you want to do it all. We all want to do it all, right? But it's okay to have the assistance of the people around you and still get the same job done. And perhaps because they use that hour to go pick up your kids, now you have a bit more buffer to go home, relax, and then have them come home, and then everyone's happy, you know?
So how much does your husband help you out with the kids? Because it gets very like complicated, like time, like managing their time and their schedule, and then also, you know, you have to go to school to see the teachers and stuff like that. Because I personally, I can't. Like all the admin stuff, I cannot do. My husband, I'm the one who's executing everything. Yeah. Because my husband will be like, okay, today go sign up for this and go see the teacher. I'm like, okay, done.
I think I would say, okay, with the kids, he's incredibly hands-on. And to the point where I like see comments online being like, oh, you're so lucky, your husband does all the stuff at home for you. And I go, yeah, I am very fortunate because thankfully he's at a time in his life where he's already kind of past the whole like go to aggressive career-wise. And he's also very relaxed at home, and he's really thankful that he has this time to spend with the kids when they're so young. But I always am the one still managing the tiny stuff, the 琐碎嘢.
Yeah.
Like I'll see Tongo and I'll have to like, okay, go and reply and sign up for things. Or if my son suddenly wants to like join a certain class, I'm gonna go and like look for people who know this and then try to sign up for him. He's the one who's hands-on with Chinese because I'm terrible. So yeah, so I feel like it's a good kind of split of work.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm the one doing the small stuff and he's the one solving the big gist of things. Like if suddenly something big comes up at home, like last night our fridge exploded suddenly. Yeah, it was like there were sparks. And I was like, I froze. I was like, oh no, what are we going to do? Like I'm one of those people because I just kind of like panic. And he'll go, calm down. Let's call our landlady. We tell her what happened, send an electrician to come over and get it all done. And then I was like, do we open the fridge and take things out? Like, what if everything rots? Because I'm leaving, you know? I don't want the food to rot. Like, I don't have time because I have to buy food. So if I'm not here, I have to buy food. And I was like, he was like, Grace, this is not the time to go and open and take the eggs out, okay? Let's just make sure the fridge is okay. Because what if it opens and it, it sparks again? I was like, okay. So we kind of have that little thing going on where he knows when it's the bigger things, he'll go and resolve it, and the smaller things, and I'll go and try to like fix it. Yeah.
So what do you think is like the toughest part of your life now?
Toughest part, I think it's being able to tell my kids what I'm doing and having them understand it. Because like I said, I'm going to be leaving for China for 3 weeks. And it's the longest I've ever been away. I think the toughest part for me right now is to allow my kids to understand why mommy is not home. Because to them, they're so young, and they'll sometimes ask, like, why is work taking you to such far away places for such a long period of time? And sometimes they might even say, like, oh, is it because you think that's more important than we are? Kids sometimes say these things, and like, they don't mean exactly the core of what it means, but at the same time, it stings you, right? And you go, I really don't want everything that I'm doing, which is for the kids, to kind of, bite you in the bum, and for them to almost think like it's not what you're trying to do. Like what I mean is, we work and we do all these things for ourselves, but also for our families, whether it's financially, whether it's security. But when they tell you, is it because you love that more than you love us? Then it gets to a point when you go, how do I let them understand? Or is it, I really do need to start saying no? Like mainly the hardest part is having my kids understand what I'm doing right now.
Have you ever thought of giving up what you're doing right now?
I could. Like I always say, because I grew up in Canada, if my kids suddenly need to kind of go elsewhere and live elsewhere and study abroad, I would definitely go with them. I don't think I would be able to kind of just release them into the wild.
Yeah.
So if that were to happen and I see that that's important to them, I would give up what I have now.
So you always seem like a really happy and positive person. Do you ever like go home and just cry and be like, what happened? Or what am I doing? You know?
Yeah, I'm a huge crybaby. Like my mom told me I love to cry since I was young. I cry about everything, but what I realized is that crying is a really therapeutic way to kind of release emotion, at least for some people. I cry when I'm so happy. Like I'll sometimes look at my kids and they'll be like my eldest will say, how was your day today? And I'll start bawling because I'm like, that's so sensitive of you. And like, thanks for asking me because I do have emotions too, right?
Yeah.
We always ask kids like, oh, what'd you do at school? And yada, yada, yada. But them asking you feels like next level.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I'll cry when I'm happy. I'll cry when I'm surprised. I'll cry when obviously I'm hurt and sad. But I think crying to me is just a really, really good way to just let go and also to feel human. Because I think a lot of times when we're in the public eyes, it almost seems like we have to have this robotic PR side of us where everything's good. You know, I hate what you just said, but I'm just going to smile and say it's fine. But crying is, you know, kind of just that release that you have. Yeah.
So throughout your life, you've had different type of career, right? Is that, can I say that? So you're Miss Hong Kong, and then you switched to acting, and then entrepreneur. Is there one part that you regret happening, or you wish didn't happen?
I don't think so. I think it was all of those things came at the right time. And be it if I could handle it right away or not, I'm glad that it did happen at that time. And I think that's just really about kind of engaging in opportunities as well. Because I think once you say yes and you commit to it, you just gotta go and complete it and try your best at it as well.
Okay. One last question.
Okay.
Can you come up with like a piece of an advice for yourself 15 years ago?
Ooh, wow. Okay, let me roll back. 15 years ago, you know what? I would say this to Grace 15 years ago and to Grace now, which is stop caring so much about what other people think about you. Because I think to this day, I'm still very, very, say, responsive to how people see and view me. And it's not even just, you know, strangers who are negatively making comments online. It's even people around me. So I think it negatively affects me because it decreases my confidence about myself, even when I knowingly can feel that I'm doing the right thing. You know, be it, say, if I have a new project coming on and I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun, I'm going to do it, and someone goes like, I don't think this is really that good for you. I don't think you're the right person. Like, that will affect me. Instead of just saying like, what do you mean? I know that this is good. I can't wait for it, and you should support me. Instead of saying these things to affect how I feel about it. But to this day, I don't really stand up for myself. And I don't know if it's because I was almost brought up in an environment where everything was always very supportive. Because my mom and dad are always like, everything you do is great, everything you do is right, you always look, you know. And it was almost that habit of having people always saying the right things, that the wrong things just hit you in a different way. So I think it's if I could do that, then I think I would be at a much higher place in my something. But at the moment, I think I'm working on it, and it's definitely better than how it was 15 years ago.
Great. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you so much.
And before we wrap up, I have something for you.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It's your anniversary.
Yes, it's our 10-year anniversary.
Wow, thank you.
Dubai chocolate inside.
Yay!
And also our anniversary flavor, miso caramel.
That sounds so good. I love a salty sweet combo. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, all the best. I'm so happy I could be your first guest. Thank you. Happy anniversary.
If you like this content, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Bye.